you know, the gasification of coal is here. Why is it not being used around the world, at least as long as people still use soft coal, and many countries still have a lot of big supply, and they're likely to not use it for a while. So if you're going to use it, you might as well do it in a way that will not create a further problem for our world. And perhaps the last point that I would like to raise, keeping in terms of my contract with your summer, is the fact that we have to find ways of developing new global cooperation and cooperations on some of the more pervasive ills of our time. Keeping in mind some of the points that have just been made is that many issues are global, and yet it's not governments that have the power to make the decisions. So, and more you also have the private sector who have the power to make a lot of those decisions as well. So, I'd like to just use one example to illustrate my point here, and of course you would expect me to go back to Transparency International experience to say how important integrity, transparency, sharing of information, we've heard this morning, is vital, as well as combating corruption. But none of that, at least on the global issue, on the global scene, can be done by any one player. Within countries, of course, a lot can in this respect, but you still need the cooperation even within countries. You've heard the figures from the World Bank that about $1 billion a year is lost to corruption that could go to development, and that money laundering fits anywhere between 1.2 to 1.6 trillion. Who knows? Because there's usually much more than what we can account for. That moves between countries as illicit money. A lot of that is money that should go to the development within countries, to help, to education, to structure, but which has been appropriated for personal gain instead. And the poor are the worst victims we know, because they pay twice. They pay once because they don't have the services, and they pay twice because they have facilitation payment in order to get whatever small services are available at times to them. This week, Monday, here in New York, the Secretary General, the head Office of Drugs and Crimes, and the President of the World Bank announced a new initiative on asset recovery. At Transparency International, we've been pushing for that and say this is the money of the people. It should return to the people and be well managed, mind you, when it does return. And we feel that this is the kind of example. In this case, you need national governments, national attorneys general, you need the bankers, you need the investment institutions, you need the world, Interpol, you need the police, you need good justice systems, you need transparent financial systems in the countries, but you need all of those to pull together and decide that you will track the money, you will find it, and that the banks will open their books when there is a legitimate investigation taking place. And this is just one example within the transparency, integrity, combating corruption file that demonstrates the importance of global cooperation if something is going to happen and something is going to be changed in some of our very complex issues that we face. Richard, there are many more areas in terms of looking to the next generation of propositions that the North-South should take under its wing, whether it's the democratic issues mentioned this morning, the emerging states, which is something of its own, the migration, labor needs, the new turmoils that we are living now at this time, so that there is not a lack of these, but there is a human capacity to make a difference if the will is there, if we're able to bring the information to the surface, and we're able to develop those global alliances, this global cooperation, and nurture the giants, especially the young ones, who are badly needed in terms of ensuring that we have a much safer world, and where, as I mentioned before, the archives the abject poverty that still too many people live with today. So thank you, and thank you for your patience in allowing me to do this at this time. Thank you to your stomachs.